Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. And as you can see, I have a rather uniquely designed item in my inventory. Definitely a very cool looking shape there. It's a Falchion with 4 to 8 damage and has a durability of 60 and only a requirement of 30 for the strength. And just a really cool looking graphic on this thing. I mean, I don't know if the unique item is cool, but the graphic is cool. Yeah, look at that freaking graphic.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while.
And this is the Executioner's Blade. The Executioner's Blade is a one-hander, as you can see. And the Executioner's Blade has some pretty decent stats. It's got 150% bonus damage, which is pretty good. Any bonus damage that you get on a weapon is really useful, and that's pretty much the equivalent of like a King's right there, 150%. It does have a pretty nasty negative of negative 10 hit points, and would probably be pretty bad for a Sorcerer to use because they have really low hit points to begin with, but not really too bad for a Warrior early on because they have relatively high hit points by comparison. So actually a pretty decent weapon for a low-level Warrior. It does have negative 10% light radius, which isn't really a big deal. I was actually playing around with it earlier on an item that had negative 30% light radius, and I didn't really much care about the light radius decrease, and I would imagine that negative 10% is much less of a decrease than the negative 30, which I saw earlier. It does have higher durability, which is really nice. So the durability increase does bring it up to 60, which is not the normal durability for a weapon. Now, if we take a look at the stats on this particular item, you'll see that comparatively, it does have pretty decent damage at 10 to 20. It does, however, bring my life down from 70 to 60, which is really the only big negative on the item is the life decrease. Other than that, it actually hits pretty hard. The main issue with this particular item is lack of any kind of to-hit percentage. Because it doesn't offer any bonus to hit percentage, it's going to be really hard to hit any monsters that have high AC class. You would need equipment that specifically gives you bonus to hit percentage, like for instance rings or amulets that give you hit bonus, or you would need a large amount of dexterity to offset the lack of hit chance on this item. Unfortunately, this means that the Executioner's Blade generally tends to be not very useful in higher levels, and probably not something that you're going to use outside of normal difficulty. Nightmare in Hell difficulty, it's definitely not going to be a good item, because most of the monsters in Nightmare in Hell have such high armor class that this item probably wouldn't even be able to hit them, unfortunately. So while it does look really cool and could be very useful in normal difficulty, it has limited usefulness outside of normal. It also doesn't have any increased attack speed on it, like most of the weapons that you would want, like a King's Bastard Sword of Haste, for instance, which has fastest attack speed. There is fast attack speed, faster attack speed, and fastest attack speed. All three of them are definitely good, fastest being the best. However, this item has none of those, so it's going to be on the slower side of the weapons as well, which kind of puts it at a bottom rung piece of equipment. It's definitely not useless, and if found early enough in the game, could definitely propel your warrior forward until you find a better weapon, but overall is going to be replaced with something that has, honestly, a better two-hit chance, just so that you can actually hit the targets, because if you can't hit them, well, you can't do damage to them, and it doesn't matter how much damage the weapon has, if you can't connect, well, let's check and see how much it costs if we want to sell it to Grizzy Busy. 1,770. It's not particularly very high, so kind of a mediocre value item as well in terms of its sell value. I mean, the graphic on it is cool. I'll give it that. It definitely does have a cool graphic. I've seen a lot of interesting graphics in Diablo 1, and this is definitely one of the more unique graphics. It has no unique graphic for the floor, though. Some items do have a unique floor graphic, like the Butcher's Cleaver, for instance. However, this one does not have a unique floor graphic. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button, because this is my full-time job, and it helps out the channel in general, and also keeps me from being homeless, which I really appreciate. We're going to be going over all the Diablo 1 unique items, so stay tuned. And as always, keep watching.